In today's brief video, I want to share with you guys 3 reasons why people become addicted to smoking weed. And this could really apply to addiction in general. It could apply to alcohol, abusing nicotine products, abusing cocaine and stimulants. We're going to talk about some of the root causes of addiction. Now, the first 2 reasons are really simple and straightforward. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about it. The third reason, though, is often not discussed and deserves a lot more attention than it usually gets. Now, if you wind up enjoying today's video, be sure to check out the links in the pinned comment in the video description to learn more about our paid and free program resources, including our supplements designed to help people quit. Okay, so reason number 1 why people get addicted. It's fun. They have fun using drugs. They have fun drinking alcohol. They have fun smoking weed. It's an enjoyable, pleasurable experience for them. And it's just something that they enjoy doing. And over time, doing it enough times for long enough, they become addicted. Simple as that. Reason number 2 why people get addicted. For some people, it starts out fun. And along the way, they start to develop a dependence on the drug, right? So starting out smoking weed and drinking alcohol is fun. It's a social thing. You're having a good time with your friends. You enjoy the high at first, and it was a good time. You do that enough, though, you start to develop a dependence on the substance, and now you have an addiction. And what happens is sometimes addiction in people's lives comes with a lot of negative consequences, physically, mentally, financially, spiritually. And the person then winds up continuing to use the drugs to cope with the outcomes of the negative situations in their life that they're experiencing that were created from the drugs. So now we have the person where it's not so much fun anymore, but they're using the drug to cope with all the drama and all the stuff that happened in their life from early drug use, from continued drug use. That's the second reason. Straightforward. The third reason, some people use drugs as a survival mechanism, okay? And I think this isn't talked about a lot. Even though the thing that's killing a person would on paper look to be really bad, like not helping them survive, for a lot of people, drugs are the only thing keeping them going. It's the only thing keeping them alive. And I'll explain what I mean by this. And I usually don't like to share personal stories, but I kind of have to in today's video for this to make sense. Growing up, my parents went through a horrible divorce. I was in pretty rigorous curriculums throughout college and even high school. I went to was a very demanding high school and stuff like that. And it was hard, like living in my house with my parents going through what they were going through, with the demands and the burdens of schooling and working 3 or 4 jobs just to get money and stuff like that. It was really, really hard. And smoking weed and coming home at night and doing that I hate using the word escape, but to distract myself from all the family drama, all the family trauma, all the other stuff going on in my life, was the only thing keeping me going. When I was studying for 10, 12 hours, or in school for a 10-hour day and then studying all night long for exams, the only thing keeping me going was chewing tobacco and eventually vape products and nicotine products. And then the excitement of going out and binge drinking with my friends on the weekends. That was the only thing that I was looking forward to. I had a beautiful life growing up, but there was very, very dark periods of my life. And my goal was just to survive long enough to get out of those circumstances eventually. And there was nothing that was going to change my circumstances except for time, right? I needed time. I needed some financial income so I could get on my own 2 feet eventually, out of my house, right? But I couldn't speed up the schooling process, right? I had no control over my parents' relationship. And at the time, I didn't have the financial means to get out of my living situation, despite all the work that I was doing. So my goal in that instance was just to get to the next day. And I don't think people think of this or understand this. I work in high schools and I work with a lot of younger students who have these horrible home lives and who have had experienced tremendous amounts of traumas and bad things happen to them. Things that to me are just unimaginable. And it will be like, okay, you got to help Johnny quit drugs, or you got to help Mary quit smoking weed. And, Mary's a freshman in high school. And when you talk to Mary and you hear about the broken home that she comes from, when you hear about the things that she's gone through with sexual assault and things like that, you understand, like, okay, she's smoking weed right now, and that's allowing her to tolerate another day in her house. And Mary is 15 years old. She doesn't have the means to go get a job and work and get out of her house and all that stuff. Right now, she's pretty stuck in this situation. And her smoking weed, her vaping nicotine, her binge drinking with her friends is actually the most stable, reliable thing she has in her life right now. It's the most dependable thing that she or he has in their lives at this exact moment. And it's a survival mechanism for them, even though it's killing them, even though it's not helping them mentally, physically, in any regard. It's enough to get them to the next day. And I don't think people talk about this enough, because this is a major problem. For me, when it came to quitting, until I started to understand that there were other options available, and even more so, until I started to believe that those other options available would lead to better outcomes in my life than continued substance use, it didn't matter. And here's the shocker for people. I had tried to get help from a few times, okay? I wasn't just like, no, I'm dead set on drugs and all that stuff, okay? I was open to help. I've always been open to advice. I've always been open to help. But in that moment in my life, no one was able to provide me with a better option. No one was able to provide me with a different route. Or no one, I should say, was able to do that effectively enough to convince me that what they were recommending was going to be better than substance use. Because you know what? Using drugs, it's a quick hit. It's an easy hit. It gives an immediate sense of relief, even if the relief that you're experiencing is only the relief of the cravings for the drugs. At least it's a sense of relief. Because if you're not getting that in your marriage or in your home life or in your career or anywhere else in life, for some people, drugs, even though it can be a horrendous experience and ruin a person's life, it might be the only pleasurable thing that they're experiencing at that time. And to tell that person to stop, to tell them that that's not working for them is ludicrous. It makes no sense to that individual. So these are the reasons why people get addicted to drugs. I think it's for fun. And people just have fun doing them and they eventually get addicted. I think it can be something that starts out as fun and then becomes a coping mechanism for the consequences of drug use. And then I think it can be a survival mechanism for people until people eventually realize that, hey, maybe this thing that once helped me survive is no longer working. That's what happened to me, right? Like, got through the divorce, got through everything, used drugs steadily. And then as the divorce finalized, as I finally started to make some more money in my career, as I started meeting better people in social circles and things like that, eventually the drugs started to go to the wayside and I became less and less interested in them. But a lot of that stuff that was happening in my life, I didn't have control over at the time. I couldn't change. And the only thing that made sense to me was doing the thing that was most reliable and most dependable, which was continued substance use. Now, if you relate to this, we offer one-on-one coaching sessions. We have a $27 a month group community on school.com. You can find these links in the pinned comment, where I'll interact with you in the DMs and in group settings in there and help you out. And then we have our supplement line. We have our Kick It, Crave Less chewing gum. It has N-acetylcysteine and KSM-66 ashwagandha. NAC is designed to help reduce cravings. KSM-66 ashwagandha is to help increase a person's tolerance for stress, while at the same time reducing emotions of anxiety and things like that. It's an incredible product, nicotine-free, cannabis-free. Check that out. We sell a 2-week supply. We sell a 90 count, which is a month supply. And then we sell a 3-pack, which is a 3-month supply, which 90 days is really the gold standard for quitting. We also have breathing tools on our website. If you're quitting vaping or quitting smoking, this is our Kick It Crave Less necklace. And basically, You can take a draw through that and it mimics hitting a vape or a cigarette. And then you can exhale through it too to help slow down your breathing and practice deep breathing, maybe during times when cravings strike or something along those lines. All right, guys, hopefully all this helps you out. Maybe this video related to you and maybe it gave you something else to think about when it comes to your substance use or discontinuation of substance use, I should say, rather. Until next time.